I got a sales call. Bad news.
All right, I think this is who we've got for today, so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and call to order the Flagler County Tourist Development Council meeting. This is October 15th, 2025. It is 9:02 a.m. If everybody could stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we take a brief moment of silence. We take this time to honor and remember our men and women in the military and our first responders locally. Just protect them and comfort their families at home. All right, thank you. Very good. Thank you for being here. We have a pretty short agenda, but as you can see at the beginning under the consent items, we've got meeting minutes, financial reports, the quarterly marketing report, and updates on our 1109 capital projects. Is there any questions or items that anybody wants to pull on those? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion for consent.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cooley, seconded by Mr. Baker. Okay, thank you, sir. All right.
Chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to highlight the revenue report because after we published, we did get our last month of the fiscal year 25 numbers. And for the month of September, we were up 8%, which landed us for fiscal year 25 up 3%. We brought in $4,434,876. And we had projected, we did our budget estimating we would generate $4.4 million. So we were about $113,000 above that. And just as a reminder, we are projecting the same number for fiscal year 26, 4.4. I know a lot of our neighbors and other counties in the state are projecting a downturn, so we will continue to be aggressive in our marketing efforts to at least remain flat of 4.4 million. But since we had those final numbers, I just wanted to share that end of year.
Okay, very good. Are those posted, those numbers, or just for the record?
For the record.
Okay. Is there any public comment on these consent items? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back and we'll call the question. All those in favor of the consent signify with aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries unanimously. All right, we'll move to our tourist development tax update. The Honorable Shelley Edmondson, our Flagler County tax collector. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready. Good morning,
Morning.
everyone. Thanks for having me. All right, so this will be rather quick. Here's our 5 pennies. I understand that there's some changes. This slide has not been updated, so forgive me for that. Here's your final numbers for the 24-25, which Miss Amy just alluded to, the $4.4 million. This is what it just looks like over the course of several years. You can kind of see that chart. Here is the comparison from last fiscal year to this fiscal year, this past fiscal year, and where those numbers originated from, in which categories. Any questions about that? Here's your trend where the yellow line, that's how our year finished, following all the same trends. Amy and her team's doing a great job, obviously. with what they do. Here's your quarterly collection comparison. Same thing from 24 to 25 for that fourth quarter where those increases were. Any questions about any of that? Was up just almost 2%. Here's what those July collections look like. Your August collection and your September collection. Here's what the accounts look like. This is just a snapshot in time, how many accounts we're actually working with. You can see there's a slight decline. That was some management company cleanup where they rounded up some of their properties and realized they weren't actually having any activity. But they were being advertised. They didn't have any activity, so they did close them. Here's the account types and what those look like. Obviously, the majority of them are the condos and townhomes, and then the single families. Here's your rental zones, where they are in the county. City of Palm Coast, City of Flagler Beach, unincorporated, and then everybody else. This is just a quick reminder for anybody that's listening. Yes, there are multiple listings, 3,000 listings out in the marketplace. Remember, each unit could have multiple listings. This is just a general reminder of that. I know we've talked about it before. We have changed our online internet scraping company. Just to make sure we're getting everything right. Try a different vendor to make sure. See if they're capturing anything different. We just started with them the first of this fiscal year, so just a few weeks ago. So I don't have much to report right now. I hope to bring you some more data the next time we meet. This is just another general reminder about what it takes to do a short-term rental in Flagler County. There is a county ordinance, 2018-10, that says you must have a local business tax receipt and a tourist development tax account. The two things. And then there's qualifications to get your business tax receipt with the county, but we help that process along. We help guide them. We hold hands very well. But here's the local business tax receipt. It expires every September 30th. It's $7.50 a unit. They do have to provide us documents. We make sure that they're compliant with the state or the municipalities. And they apply online. It's free. Versus their tourist development account. That is a confidential site. Everything about it's confidential. It's a secure site. And that's where they apply, file, and pay each month or quarter. Is there any questions about any of that before I move on? Okay. So here's just the enforcement update, kind of what we're doing with those. We have had 5 enforcement actions. We do have 3 pending tax warrants that we'll put on the property. We actually did file 2 tax warrants on properties, and we're currently investigating 17 accounts. So we're finding them, and we're hunting them down, making sure they do the right thing.
Get them.
That's right. So is there any questions about that before I move on? All right. And then the community outreach, this is the magenta. It's this color. You'll be seeing it in your tax bills in the next few weeks. That is going out. Obviously, we still do our community events. We talk about tourist tax. We're going out. Plan to do a lot more of that in the coming months and years, really. But we do get out and talk about it. We do display it in all of our lobbies. If you're renting, you got to get an account with us. And then obviously our anonymous reporter button. And that is really it. Anybody have any questions?
Questions? I've got a couple.
Sure.
So did the new scraper company,
Yes.
when did they start?
I think October 1st.
So we
Yeah.
don't have any comparisons yet or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
The initial sample data that, they pitched was pretty close to what we already had. But I think this company's going to do a little better about quantifying that into reports, I'm hoping. Similar data, they're all scraping the same places. So if it's out there, all these companies, I would dare to say, are pretty much the same. But we're going to give them a shot.
You showed the requirements for applying in Flagler County. Do we need to add the other municipalities and their requirements in there?
So I can certainly add that to the PowerPoint. You know, we're just in charge of getting, and I think I may have even done that in the last quarter, but that's okay. Yes, in order to get one for us, we do have a list of things that just depends on where they're at. So we don't tell everybody these are all the things you need, because if they're in the city of Palm Coast, they need this. If they're in Flagler Beach, they need that.
I'm just thinking if somebody's watching, maybe
If somebody's watching, we lead them in the direction that they need to go. If it's unincorporated and it's a condo, you don't need to go see growth management. But if it's a house, you do. If you go to the city of Palm Coast, they now have a local business tax receipt that you're going to have to provide to us. As well as the state. If it's a condo, it's this number. If it's a hotel, it's that number, or dwelling. So there's just different requirements based on where they're at and what kind of facility that they're hosting. Or is it a management company? That's also a kind of a different realm. What I would say is very clearly, just call us. We are really good at holding hands, and we will walk you through wherever that particular property is. We will tell you exactly what you need. Is that helpful?
It does. I just, from a, I don't know if people that are looking at TDC or are looking at this, or where they're going to actually go
You're right.
to find their information. If they're
I would recommend
in
going
the city
to
of Palm Coast, I don't know.
flaglertax.gov
On your website,
and call us
For,
or email us. Yes.
so I'm just asking Councilman Pontieri about what the city has on their website. It's easy to maneuver.
We have a list of criteria.
Okay, all right. That's all.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I just have a question about the anonymous reporting. Is that being utilized?
Yeah, it's not super active. We usually get about 2 to 3 a month on that. But we've got them different ways. They call, they write. They do utilize that anonymous area, but not very often.
How is that?
Ms. Monterey, we're not getting you.
Sorry, I forget. How are we getting that information out to residents, the existence of that anonymous reporting?
So on our lobby, in our lobbies, we do display that, I believe, and I'll now have to check. I know it was up there at one time. And it's highlighted on our website.
So like if you go to the STR or what landing page takes a resident to the anonymous reporting? And I ask because we do get a lot of complaints at our meetings and emails, and people don't know about it.
I'll have to look. It's on our website, and it's under the tourist development page. So if you'd have to go to the tourist development page.
I think that's a little confusing. I mean, that's not intuitive, I don't think, for a normal resident to think, I want to report a STR, so let me go to the tourist development page to do so. So maybe that's kind of lost in translation for a regular person just looking to report one of these STRs.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. You're absolutely right. So we'll take another look at
I
that and
appreciate that.
see exactly where that's at and how it's presented.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Anybody else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
want to pause and ask Ms. Lukasik if at the beginning of the agenda, can we put a line item for roll call? Because I just went right through that. And I didn't know if you know everybody up here. But I'm going to go ahead and just do a roll call. So Lisa, if you could just state your name, we'll go down the dais and state your name and your company.
Okay, I'm Lisa Robinson. I'm the general manager of the Hampton Inn Suites of Palm Coast.
Stephen Baker, Hammock Beach Resort.
right, Andy Dance, County Commission.
Teresa Pontieri, City of Palm Coast City Council.
Eric Cooley, City of Flagler Beach.
John Lujarai, co-owner of Oceanside.
All right, thank you all, appreciate that, and apologize for skipping over that. We'll move down to item 4, which is general business. The first item is, and the only item is Fund 1110, the fiscal year 26 discretionary event funding, and this is for Florida Elite Soccer.
Thank you, Chair. Amy Lukasik. I'd like to present to you a soccer tournament, the Winter Invitational. You may be familiar with the organization Florida Elite. However, they are now doing business as Sporting Jacks Soccer Academy. And they have hosted this event for several years. It's in a perfect time of year where we desperately need the business. And there will be a total of 250 teams, but Palm Coast will only see about 75 of those teams, just because that's what our fields, the max that our fields can accommodate. They have a great history of generating room nights. This is a 3-day of soccer matches. Last year, they did about 260 and project about the same at $175 average daily rate. And their budget is about $48,000, and this is a bid fee request of $10,000 to help offset. That has been the history of funding we have provided them because they're at the max, so we continue to fund at $10,000 for them. One of their largest expenses, which is typical in soccer and lacrosse and flag, is those referee fees. It's about close to $20,000, so this does help offset some of those costs. We do have a representative from the organization, Ms. Sylvia, and perhaps she can give some background about the merger or acquisition with Sporting Jacks Soccer Academy, and answer any questions you have about the event.
Welcome, come on up, state your name for the record.
Good morning.
Pull right up to the microphone so we can hear you.
Very short, too.
There you go.
Good morning, Sylvia Santos, Palm Coast resident.
Thank you.
So the new Sporting Jacks Academy is a partnership with the Sporting Jacks Partner Pro. So it's a pathway to professional. So we have currently in Palm Coast 19 competitive teams and 30 recreational teams here in Palm Coast at Indian Trails. Any questions that you have related? Alan was supposed to come, so I apologize. I got a call this morning.
Thank you for being here, though. We do appreciate it. If there's any questions.
I have a few questions.
Absolutely.
Amy was saying that you all have 250 teams, but we can only accommodate essentially 75. How many more fields would be required in order to accommodate the full 250 is the first question, if you have the answer. If you don't, and you can follow up with me, that's awesome. The second thing, though, is if we had more fields based on just the event itself, would there be an ability to even have that many teams play or close to it in a single event like this? I mean, is that even practical?
In Palm Coast?
Yes.
No.
If we had the fields.
If we had the fields, absolutely.
Okay.
Including like Indian Trails. So we literally only have lights from 1 to 5. The backfields at Indian Trails 6 through 8, there's no lights. So after 6 p.m., we literally can't have a practice or a game at all because there's no lights there. Our practices right now that we have going on have to end literally by 7 p.m. Due to the lighting. So we're literally squishing all our team practices between 1 and 2 and 3 to 5. With sharing the space right now with another competitive program here in Palm Coast. Mm-hmm. If we had another 10 fields, amazing.
So 10 fields.
Yeah.
And for tournaments like this, would you be able to host 200 to 250 teams in one tournament if the fields were there to accommodate you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I may, I just feel like that we don't have the accommodations hotel-wise to be able to accommodate that many teams. So unfortunately, it has to be one of those things to where we need a lot more fields, because what I see my kids go through on the soccer side, it's terrible because you have such a great growing business, right? Sporting Jacks now merging, buying Florida Elite, but their pathway, like, it's been like this for the same 20 plus years. When I played soccer here, it's the same exact thing. So many volunteers, not enough money behind it. For some reason, we spend a lot more money elsewhere, but 10 more fields and a couple more hotels that would really be able to breed more of a conducive development to the pros.
Absolutely.
I'm working on the rectangular fields very hard, so hopefully we get some traction.
I have a comment. And also with this one, it's not particularly the hotel room, it's the timing. It's this particular one is always doing the Rolex 24. So the companies want, the sales companies, like our parent companies, push because they have contracts with the Rolex people as well. So it cuts off the amount of rooms that we can take from y'all sometime. For this one, I try to take the most, right? Because I push the race people out. You didn't hear me say that. But anyway, I do because we have other tournaments to do the rest of the year. But if it was a different date, we probably could accommodate a good amount of them. It's just because we have Rolex at the same time for this one.
Right.
I can bring that back.
It's good information to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Can we make sure we just get I would like your contact information before you head
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. All right, so we have the $10,000 request for this discretionary event funding. Is there a motion?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cooley, seconded by Councilwoman Pontieri. Any public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Any opposed? And any abstaining? Ms. Robinson. Thank you. Okay, again, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right, our quarterly marketing update. Ms. Brokaw.
Thank you. I'm going to
Okay.
kick it off this time because the team and I have been meeting recently to further expand and what that could look like, our quarterly marketing updates. There's many layers, and so we kind of tried to find the balance of giving too much information. Of course, it's always available if anyone requests it from us. But the discussion, and that what caused me some pause, is that we are very transparent. However, we're still very competitive, and having all this information out there, we certainly do it. We are nosy of what our neighbors are doing, where they're doing their advertising buys, what's the reporting. So we do have a lot of this. We just ask that you request it, but we're trying to find the balance. So they are going to start sharing a little bit more information and peeling back some of these layers. And this is Angie's second time presenting, so be nice to her. But they're doing great, so I'll turn it over to them now.
I guess that means you don't have to be nice to me. Yeah. I'm ready. So we'll go ahead and dive into our quarterly marketing update. Slide 1, this is a new slide. You haven't seen this before. So to start, we wanted to add a refresher on our marketing objectives and strategy. So on the left, you'll see our marketing efforts wheel of sorts, which highlights our various strategies and marketing tools. The website, blogs, and event listings, social media channels, those are Facebook and Instagram. Paid media, these are the targeted ads purchased and placed by our ad agency, that's Aqua. PR, so press releases, media visits, and fam tours. Outreach and collateral, this would be those community events that Deborah always does a great job at, our printed brochures like the visitor and dining guides, and then email like our monthly newsletters. And on the right, you'll see the inverted pyramid, which shows a visitor's journey. So kind of at the top here, they're dreaming, they're thinking about a possible vacation. They don't know where exactly. So this is when we want to build destination awareness, almost like background noise, maybe that digital ad you might see on a favorite website or a 15-second pre-roll video on YouTube. Next is the planning stage, when a visitor is gathering information on a destination, things to do, places to stay. They'll visit a website, request the visitor guide. And then the booking stage is, of course, when they finally commit. They book the room, the transportation, etc. Experience is when they're here, enjoying the destination. And finally, sharing is when they're back home, posting and sharing their experiences with friends and family. Okay, and so we use the marketing efforts on the left to attract and entice visitors in all stages of their journey. So you might target someone with an e-newsletter at several different points in their journey, for example. Okay? And when we do these quarterly marketing updates, you just see some of the snippets of our marketing efforts, what's on the blog, social, paid media. And as we go through the next few slides, you'll see the coordinating efforts from that marketing wheel on each slide. And as a reminder, all of the content that we create in-house and our agency is based on things like visitor data, consumer habits, seasonality, and analytics. For example, the blogs are written based on SEO keywords. Those are top things people search, and we try to get them to our site that way. Okay, so now you see slide 1, we're going back to July in the top right-hand corner. You see the website, blog, and email. So that was from that wheel. That's one spoke of the wheel. So in July, with kids out of school, the content was geared towards families and summer fun on and around the water. Of course, we highlighted July 4th events and activities with a blog itinerary, a roundup of ice cream spots. So food-focused blogs always tend to do well and get folks clicking from the newsletter over to the blog. I guess we're all hungry. And a feature on Backwater Cat Adventure, which is a exhilarating family-friendly activity. And I'll pass over to Angie for the social from July.
Okay. So, hi and good morning. Today I'll be sharing the monthly social media highlights for July. It was themed a splash of summer fun. On the left, we'll start with our top performing content for the month. The first post is our 4th of July celebration, which was a standout post across both platforms. It captured a full day of festive fun from the 5K to Swellerbees to the Stars and Stripes parade and wrapping up with fireworks. This post reached nearly 5,000 users and earned over 6,500 views, showing strong community engagement and excitement around the holiday. Next, our video featuring La Creperie Cafe and Palm Coast performed exceptionally well. This short-form reel highlighted the cafe's authentic French cuisine and charm. It reached around 7,000 people with 8,000 views and 90 likes, showing that culinary content continues to resonate with our audience, and I'll share that with you now.
Ça c'est bon. Lovers say that a friend when they're thrilled to romance, it means that that's so good. Ça c'est bon. So I
Where's the samples?
Yeah. Our final post for top content in July was spotlighting Flagler Surf School, which captured the heart of the theme, Splash of Summer Fun. Whether it's someone's first wave or their 100th, this video showcased the fun and family-friendly experience of learning to surf in Flagler Beach. It reached about 4,800 users with 6,500 views and perfectly highlighted the coastal lifestyle and outdoor rec. Okay, so a big part of our success with these videos is that they are produced in-house at no cost to our partners. This is one of the ways that we directly support local businesses, giving them professional exposure to thousands of potential visitors. Whether someone is planning a trip or already here looking for things to do, these features help showcase the unique experiences that make our destination special. On the right-hand side, we have all the numbers, analytics, and reports. Some of the highlights for the overall performance: Facebook had 1.7 million views, which was a more than 40% increase from June. Instagram had 164,000 views. New followers on both channels, 475 on Facebook, 109 on Instagram. The engagement, Facebook saw a 123% increase, while Instagram had a slight seasonal dip. Link clicks were positive, 15% for Facebook, 32% increase for Instagram, and this shows that more users are using the website for trip inspiration. Some social feature highlights: we featured 60 different tourism partners, 25 local events were promoted, and we used 7 pieces of user-generated content. The breakdown for content was 5 videos, 16 carousels, 14 photos, and 8 features on the blog and website. And I'll pass it back to Courtney.
All right, we'll switch to August. So in August, from the compass to the course. So our content was geared toward both families and couples, with a last-minute summer getaway to the new hotel. Meet a local blog interview with golf teaching professional Donna Serino, and a blog on great places to enjoy oysters for National Oyster Day. Angie?
For August, our social media theme was the same, from the compass to the course. This theme celebrated both exploration and rec in Palm Coast and the Flagler beaches, highlighting new industry partners to teeing off on our beautiful local courses. The post on the left is a social post for the Meet a Local, Donna Serino. She's a golf professional at Palm Harbor Golf Club, and her passion for teaching shines through turning beginners into confident golfers one swing at a time. This story reached over 16,000 views and performed strongly on both the blog and social media. Next up was a fun, engaging reel asking our audience, what's your favorite color? Our answer was no contest. A sunrise wins every time. This post had over 25,000 views and 800 likes. It's simple, but captures what people love most about our destination. And I'll share that with you now. Another top performing piece of content was just dropping our favorite garden for getting engaged. It's giving ultimate love story vibes, featuring Washington Oaks Garden State Park and tying in a fun, lighthearted trend with Taylor Swift getting engaged recently. This post reached 21,000 views and generated strong engagement, positioning our destination as a perfect spot for romantic getaways. And I'll share that post so you can see it. So we highlighted different areas. And we tried to have fun with it. The analytics and reports for August, Facebook had 1.6 million views, a slight 5% from July. Engagement was up 9%. Instagram had over 190,000 views, which was a 16% increase, and 104 new followers. There were 322 new followers on Facebook, and link clicks increased by 7% for Facebook. The social features and content development, we featured 42 local partners, 34 events, 2 user-generated content, and we collected new assets for the Palm Harbor Golf Course. The mix of content was reels, carousels, photos, and blog and website again. Overall, August showed strong momentum. Storytelling, partner collaborations, and in-house content continue to connect with the locals and visitors in meaningful ways. Brittany.
Okay, September. So we kind of switch in September, targeting more couples instead of families because it's the most wonderful time of year. Kids are back in school. So we had a couples trip blog highlighting things to do for various couple personality types. And then we started a new blog series called Flavors of Flagler. And so September's highlighted a few of our many must-try coffee shops. And then additionally, we included an event spotlight blog on the Flagler Rodeo. So the rodeo's event listing on our website is one of the top pages every year. So we try to capitalize on that with an SEO-friendly blog article on the rodeo to pull in more traffic.
For social for September, this theme celebrated the charm, romance, and seasonal spirit of Palm Coast and the Flagler beaches, from cafes to fall-inspired adventures and events. The top performing content on the left is our autumn mood board, invited visitors to fall in love with Palm Coast and the Flagler beaches. It highlights seasonal colors, local spots, and fun activities. This post generated more than 47,000 views, had 136 likes, and 11 shares, perfectly capturing the charm of the season while inspiring travel. Next was our long-form feature post. This was the Can't Miss Fall events in Palm Coast and the Flagler beaches. This reached 63,000 views with 401 likes and 82 shares, covering more than 20 local events. It served as a one-stop guide for seasonal fun while promoting visitation. And I'll share that. So we tag all of our partners when applicable. And we broke it out by months, so that way you could mark your calendars and tag who you're going with. This posted really well. Lastly, we had top performing posts was a feature for our lifestyle blog on Flavors of Flagler, our must-visit coffee shops, and that celebrated local cafes with their unique offerings. It reached 2,600 views, had 40 likes, and 3 shares, highlighting that businesses that make our destination so inviting. And I'll share that as well. So this one is more of a carousel style post and tempts you with some nice visuals. The metrics for social on this one, Facebook had 1.2 million views, 362 new followers. Instagram had 207,000 views and 71 new followers. Social features, we featured 68 local partners, 52 events. We used 2 user-generated content, and the mix was, again, videos, carousels, photos, and blog. Back to Courtney.
All right, so we're going to switch gears back on that marketing effort wheel. Now we're focusing on the paid media spoke of the wheel. So these are just some of the ads created by our ad agency, that's Aqua, and these are what are currently running. And just like our internal content, these are targeted towards couples for this time of year. So right now, we have 2 Clear Channel billboards, one on I-95 and the other on I-4. Those are on the left-hand side. We have an Expedia native banner ad, and then a 15-second YouTube pre-roll ad that we'd like to play for you. But before Angie plays it, we just want to note that we get quarterly marketing reports from Aqua on the performance of all of these ads. So we know things like click rates, cost per click, and that way we can evaluate what's working and pivot if needed. And finally, we'll highlight some of what's coming up with our ad agency, Aqua. On the left there, you can see that we're in the final stage of production with our revamped trailhead guide. It's been tedious because we want to make sure it's accurate, but also easy for a visitor to understand. And a big thank you to Commissioner Dance for giving us some great perspective, as he's an avid trails user, if you didn't know. And we've also worked with the city of Palm Coast as well, their staff, to figure out what they want included. And then lastly, we are in the process of planning our 2026 photo and video shoot. It's going to be a 2-day shoot, which takes place at the end of this month. We're narrowing down locations, attractions, dining, and in the process of selecting talent. And all of these new images and video will be used to update and refresh that creative that you saw on the slide before. It also fills any gaps we've had in photography. For example, we're hoping to get some nice girls' trip shots, various age demographics. And then additionally, Aqua, that's our ad agency again, they're gonna be here at our January meeting to discuss the 2026 campaign, and we are really excited to show you all of that content and the photos and video that we capture at the end of the month. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
I have a couple questions. Well, first, have you all been in touch with the city of Palm Coast? We're rolling out an app for the city in December, and we want to have an events page. So if we could coordinate with you all to make sure we're capturing everything, that would be really helpful. Just a general question on the social media marketing. Do we have metrics of views and likes that are local versus non-local?
It's not so much local, it's like non-followers and follower-based.
Which that is probably local versus non-local for the most part, I would imagine. No?
Not necessarily. Like if you follow your favorite destination, you are following them, but they may not be in Florida.
Okay. Do we know, even if we maybe have to reach out to Aqua to ask them, is there a way to measure that? I ask because I'm wondering if targeting more local things like a golf pro to, just utilizing money is the best way to only locals rather than paying for an ad that's going to target, somebody in, New York. What's the chances that they're going to come down here for a golf pro, right? So things like that. Are we targeting that way?
So social media is our best way to ineligible uses of the TDT because it's to bring people from outside the county in. But so our way around that is through social media, where we do have a lot of local followers. Mm-hmm. We do have a lot of locals that go to our website. So that's kind of our way to reach those locals because they are some of our biggest fans and follow our page. But like the paid advertising has to be outside of the county.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But there's ways to kind of
navigate it.
You're doing it out of the county, and oh, by the way, locals just happen. Because a lot of times we do hear, well, I don't see any of your advertising. We're like, that's good, because you're already here as a resident. So Aqua in January will kind of dive deeper into geographically where most of our advertising is. believe it or not, we have about $800,000 that we put towards advertising with a $4.4 million budget. So with advertising, you have to do it repetitively over and over, and you have to put a lot of dollars to be seen and stay competitive. So we don't have that much to work with, so we stay with a lot of our tried and true, our markets we know for sure. And then we do dedicate a small portion of the budget to try to put our foot in new markets just to see if there's any traction, and then kind of adjust based on those results.
Yeah, and I specifically ask not only just from a metric standpoint, because that's always helpful, but also particularly when you have downturns in the economy, it becomes trendy to kind of vacation in your backyard.
Right.
So, making sure we're reaching maybe even a neighboring county that doesn't have to pay to fly or drive very far, knowing that there might be hidden gems, which there are. I mean, Washington Oaks is a really good example that you highlighted, right here in Palm Coast and Flagler Beach. So just, maybe highlighting or making sure that we're reaching those folks, especially as we hear very common right now, commonly, that things are more expensive, everything is more expensive, so maybe perhaps people are not looking to go too far to travel and vacation.
Yes, I definitely agree. And one thing I do want to add is the way I look at social media when I'm posting those local events and attractions is locals are our visitors too. So I like to make sure that they're going to our page to look for things to do, whether it's an event or what hidden gem they can find next. But I do monitor closely our sistering communities and see, what they're posting and sharing, and we return the love when we can.
Great, thank you.
And
Every week we post what I call a save and share, and it is weekend events that if somebody is here for the weekend, they can find all of the different attractions to do while they're here. But that's a weekly post.
Okay, thank you.
And I think one thing that Amy always kind of drills in our heads too is our mission statement, and that's to make the county a better place to live and visit. So we're always thinking about our locals too, because that's at the core of our mission.
Ms. Robinson?
Yeah, I had a question about the September, her analytics, where you had arrows saying that things were down, if you go back to that. Yeah, September, where the arrows were going down, was that the percentage compared to September last year or compared to the month before?
It's for the month before. So we take all that into, with a grain of salt. We allow there to be negatives and positives too. But we kind of look at it and see what different content maybe we were pushing, what does better on one platform versus another, and we pivot when needed.
Okay, so that goes to what Ms. Pontieri said. So September as a whole was down that month. So a lot of your people that like your stuff are probably coming from out of town when they're in these timeshares and all these things that they come and visit. So for September to go down and market the revenue that all of us made lets us know that a lot of times people get here and then they go on the website and find something to do, because I do that. Like, I was just in Orlando and I was acting like a tourist, but I went on their website to find what to do in that area for the downtime in a conference. So this is giving us a little bit of data about how many people are actually traveling here.
Thank you.
Are we seeing trends? So in other words, rather than just comparing this month, to your point, this month to last month, are we seeing trends so that, in other words, if like 2 months ago there was a big, I think it was like 41% spike in July. Is that a common trend? So every year, are we seeing a 31 or 41% or something close to that spike, and then seeing some of these downward departures? I mean, is what we're looking at right now a trend year after year, or are we just now starting to measure these things? And I only ask because comparing month to month isn't as useful as comparing month to month and year after year.
So with this, I pulled from our Meta backend dashboard, and it was month to month. There are other options where I can do more of like a year over year analysis and see that. But as far as monitoring it, from what I've seen, is it balances out. There isn't any major crashes or differences
Well, 41% jump is quite a bit.
for month to month, but when you're comparing like the year over year.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I don't think you can compare fairly unless you're looking year after year. Like, is that a common trend? Do we commonly see that jump in July? Or did you all do something marvelous this July that we should continue onward? I guess that's
Yeah.
more of what I'm asking.
Well, I will gladly revise the metrics next report to kind of show the more year over year. This was just new metrics to try to share, so I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I think just to like give us a bigger picture, it's just helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to see both. I think that would be fun to see. Regarding the trails, the update to the trails map and the trailhead guide, we have in our capital budget for the Lehigh Trail a portion of probably one of the most used sections of the trails is going to be repaved. It's in our budget for this year. So after July, Mr. Dixon said they would be working on that because it's a little rough right now. The tree roots have taken over, and so they have to go back and fix all that and repave it and level it all out.
Just trying to keep you on your toes.
It's a little rough. I'm glad that we got that put in, because we do a lot to market and get people here to utilize the trails, and so we need to put our best face forward because the last thing we need is some not so good shares or pictures and that get traction. So, thank you. All right. So all done. Is that it for the quarterly update? Okay. And I guess I'll add to having just gotten back from a trip to Alaska. The sharing component is pretty interesting to watch because although I don't post anything while I'm on vacation, once you get back, you're sharing all these photos and places you visited. So I think tagging, having readily available tags for all those places is important. But there's a lot of interaction on those shares, so I don't know how we enhance that, but I think that's a really important part of that experience, that people are satisfied with what they're doing and then they're sharing it.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like there's no rhyme or reason, and things that you don't really think as much about when you post or put together. Sometimes those are the ones that do the best. It's definitely a secret formula.
And I think it was interesting, the comment you shared with me the other day about old school versus new school, and we still do really old school outreach, and it's amazing. If you wanted to share that.
Yeah, one of our paid media advertising buys is with Southern Living, and one of the features that we get is, believe it or not, they still have those cards where people can select from the advertisers throughout the magazine, oh yes, send me additional information, which is our visitor packages. And one would not think, because we hear it all the time, why does anyone need that? There's the internet. I just asked Christina because we've been getting about 500, 600 requests a week, and we do those packages in-house. So it's become a joke that we have to have packing parties where we take all of our brochures, all the envelopes. Christina's printing these labels from a very loud machine. And then we go into our conference room and we set up an assembly line, and on Fridays we're in there packing hundreds of visitor packages. So, and that's something that, that's just an added feature from putting an ad in there, but it's turned out great because we always feel like if we can get our materials, we feel so strongly about them, into someone's hands, we'll have a good chance of getting them here. So it just goes to show those things still work.
Do those include things that they could bring back so we could track those? Like I'm thinking Johnny's Restaurant or something, if there was within there a coupon that we actually knew when they redeemed it, that somebody who got the packet actually came to town.
Years ago, in our dining guide, we did feature coupons, but it just wasn't, it's very time-consuming. In a lot of restaurants, it's like $1 off, and it just didn't.
Well, no, that was an example, but I didn't know if there was
Yeah,
something
way to
else
see.
that could redeem, say when the Eco Center's open, they could redeem it for something when they visited the Eco Center. We could get an idea of utilization.
I almost feel like if you had a free gift, for
Right.
instance, that you can
So,
give to multiple restaurants.
Sort of, we'll be able to dive into that more. So the new vendor that will replace Arrivalist, called Zardico, we're getting ready to officially onboard with them. They have credit card data, and also one of the features we purchased is website tracking. So when Courtney's showing those banner ads, those ads, so we'll be able to see if someone clicked, so they're in Ohio, they clicked that ad and looked at it on their phone, did that phone come into our county? It's crazy. And the credit card data. So if I'm not mistaken, because it was been a couple months since we got there, it's information overload, all the, yes, that's available, but we'll be able to see specific credit card data at Oceanside and where they came from, how long their phone was here, were they a day tripper, and let's say Orlando shows high, then we know people from Orlando, this is an example, spend more money. So should we continue to spend more money in Orlando because Orlando's showing a larger spend in our community? So we're looking forward to it, but it's going to be pretty incredible once we can continue to drill down to make our $800,000, stretch those dollars as far as we can to make sure we're making those right decisions with Aqua.
So those people that fill out the cards, do we know where they're going? Are we tracking the addresses and the states so that we know when we send them back out where those requests are coming from?
We do have all of the spreadsheets and can see where they're going to. And those, we kind of joke as we're addressing them too. Oh, this one was from Midwest Living. They're in Nebraska. And so when we go to look at the Arrivalist data or Google Analytics, we can see, not that specific
make
person
assumptions.
maybe, but we can make a correlation between, okay, we bought the Midwest Living ad, and now we're getting all of these site visits. So
I mean, it could show all these people from Iowa want to come to Flagler County. I mean, I don't know.
right, and that's how, like Amy said, Aqua will be here in January, but that's kind of, again, how we can determine the year-round markets and then the seasonal markets where we want to go after.
It's a lot of thought
So much
that goes
data
into
now.
it. Yeah, it's a lot of thought. It's not just willy-nilly and the girls along with Aqua and our vendors that provide us a lot of this additional data and research, we do utilize. We do not let it sit there.
So I have a quick comment on to your point, Commissioner Dance, about sharing. I know it's very common for people to check in wherever they're going on Facebook. So maybe when we're doing a highlight of a restaurant or a thing to do, we have a QR code that allows them to check in, because I would think if a QR code can then link to our Facebook somehow where they're checking in, and then we're maybe getting feedback on, okay, well, they saw our ad on Facebook and now they're checking in at this location. I don't know if there's some way to connect the two. I don't pretend to be a Facebook guru, but I do know two things. People love QR codes and they love to check in and tell the world what they're doing and where they're at. So to the extent we can leverage that and try to connect it with how useful our actual ads are, and if they're translating to actually people going to these locations and not just watching the cool reels on Facebook, I think, we can kind of kill a couple birds with one stone.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Lukasik, your department update and presentation is
Yes.
item 6 next.
Thank you. I have a few updates. Have selected, if you recall, a few meetings I've talked about. We were putting out an RFP for a tourism sustainability master plan. This is a 10-year plan that also has other components that we're getting with that, which include sustainability. So as we further grow in our tourism space, we want to make sure we're being thoughtful of the quality of life. So that is that sustainability piece. And then from that 10-year plan, they're going to extract the smaller strategic plans. So we don't have to do a strategic plan with one vendor and a master plan with another. We made it part of the RFP that we wanted them to take those goals and make them shorter term, and that will be our strategic plan. So just some of the deliverables that we'll get. They're going to provide data-driven recommendations for existing and future infrastructure, marketing, product development, and governance. They're going to give recommendations on how bed tax dollars, reserve funds, and possible new revenue streams should be best utilized and invested to support the outcome of the plan. It will touch on balancing visitor growth throughout the county. That's not just the beaches, but for environmental, economic, and community well-being. They will touch on enhancing Flagler County's identity as a sustainable and desirable year-round vacation destination, and also the protect and promote natural, cultural, and historical assets. So we had our kickoff call. Obviously, there'll be lots of community engagement, stakeholder engagement, TDC opportunities through surveys, one-on-ones, and our next step is to finalize a lot of those survey questions by the end of the year, and then start those focus groups. They're going to inventory existing tourism assets, benchmark us against comparable destinations. It goes on and on. So we are looking forward to that, and obviously you guys will play a huge role into help shaping the future of tourism in Flagler County as our community continues to grow and yet balance where people are going. We want to spread the wealth all throughout the community. We want to minimize footprint in certain areas and continue to import those taxpayers, because we all like when visitors can help offset resident taxes. The second update is regarding the Visitor Eco Discovery Center on September 15th. We did present our office along with Kimley Horn, who is the selected vendor to do the design and planning for that 1,000-acre Bulow Regional Headwaters Park, and engineering, because there's a lot of projects that kind of coincide in that area. So we gave the board the update of all those projects, and we had selected a vendor through a selection process where we narrowed it down to 3, and then we narrowed it down to 1. And the winner of the RFP was the Collage Companies, and the architect is Rough and Roads. And so on September 15th, we received final approval to move forward with the construction of the Visitor Eco Discovery Center. So now we'll have a place where we can interface with our visitors. We already have so many ideas, kind of what you guys were saying of how do we know, when people go, and we always talk about how we can do, I don't want to say scavenger hunts, but hey, if you go here, here, and here, and then bring this card or bring something back to us to show you visited. We're trying to highlight, hey, maybe there's a T-shirt or a product, a tchotchke that we can give them. So that's ways that we can help track those efforts in the future. We are working with FC3. As you may recall, in our budget, we are looking for them to do kind of what they're doing for Palm Coast now, which is administer our special event marketing grants that are related to arts, culture, and history events. We also are going to introduce a new grant opportunity for those organizations along the lines of like destination product development, programming. So it's not just specific to an event. If they also want to add another tourism product, there'll be that opportunity. And we'll stay pretty close in line with the same guidelines that Palm Coast is using. That way it keeps it consistent for the applicants. We will not be transferring any money to them. The reimbursement, still a reimbursement process. It's still a match. It will come through our office, and we will internally, along with the clerk's office, make sure all those documents are complete. Save the date. We are very close to confirming. February 11th will be our next annual meeting. We usually host it at the Palm Coast Community Center at a lunchtime, and we're just waiting for Aqua to confirm. We will have that vendor clarity of place there because we want to use that opportunity to survey very quickly, like on their phones, where people can scan the QR code and answer a couple quick questions. So we're going to try to capture as many people as we can in that meeting. The January TDC meeting, as Courtney said, we'll have Aqua here to give the annual marketing and advertising campaign presentation. It's also the time of year where FC3 does their annual update, and the county's coastal beach administrator, she gives her annual update of the beach projects. The Bike Week, we're going to have some great weather, so we look forward to helping push people into all those businesses that have special Bike Week promotions. Hoteliers, if you have openings still, occupancy, please let us know and we'll help get that word out. Two other items. So this week we will announce that we have two open seats. We have a lodger and someone that is involved in the tourism industry. So we'll push out those applications. We've made some tweaks that are specific to tourism and put out a press release. And hopefully at our January meeting, we will have some new faces. And lastly, I just wanted to share that, brag on Deborah Morgan. For the past 3 years, Deborah has been working towards an important industry professional certification from the Southeast Tourism Society. And the curriculum for this program covers various aspects of tourism marketing, including destination development, which is part of her job, branding, crisis communication, trends, data and research. And what's nice about this program is that they give very practical learnings that can be immediately applied. And it's nice because you don't have to have a $50 million budget to do a lot of this. But before certification, she has to complete and submit 2 real-life projects that she came back and completed. One of them was on FC3 that she did. Another one was developing that RFP Tourism Master Plan Scope of Services, where she had to demonstrate her deep understanding of the curriculum, long-term tourism strategy, and have the ability to translate it into practical, actionable steps right away. And so I wanted to share with you her 3-year certification of a tourism marketing professional, and I'd like for her to come up and have a picture with the board to highlight this achievement. Great job, Deborah. And Angie's currently enrolled in the program, and I'm an alumni.
Great.
Congratulations.
You can come up here. Come on up here. You're in the middle. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Everybody squeeze.
Like you like each other. Guys.
Go.
Thank you.
We make a department requirement that every year someone has to work on professional development. So, and that concludes my updates.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Lukasik?
Just timeline on the master plan. Ms. Lukasik?
It's about a year process until we have the final deliverables, so.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Amy, you said Eco Discovery. Any idea when the grand opening date you kind of shoot for in your mind?
We don't have a date yet.
Okay.
But I would guess the first quarter of 2028.
First steps are groundbreaking.
Yeah, we're still a ways away, but long time coming.
Anybody else? Any more questions? Okay. This is the time for community outreach and public comment. There's no one here right now. They've all left. We had a big crowd earlier. So we'll close public outreach and go to board member comments. And I'll start on my left, Ms. Robinson.
Hello, everyone. So speaking of these quarters here, the July, August, and September, there was a downward trend in leisure travel. The July and August was kind of what we expected, but the September was a shock. While September is always a slow month, it was exceptionally slow this year. So, and I'm only speaking on transient business. I'm not speaking on people traveling to go to Airbnbs and all kinds of stuff, but just off the highway, it was slower. Speaking to the other general managers that are not here, the same thing. So as far as October goes with Bike Week, all of us have rooms. All of us that host Bike Week have rooms because normally during Biketoberfest, there's always a hurricane. So the amount of rooms that we have left normally are filled with people who are running from and scrambling from the hurricane. So it looks like this runs about 65 and 70%. And also this group of Biketoberfest people have now aged because it's an older crowd and some of the age out is going on as well. So I have a big check-in today of repeat customers who've been coming to the property for 10 years or more, but they can't hold it. So we also lost Pumpkin Shootout because according to the person that was in charge of that, he said only 5 families had registered. 5 rooms out of a block we had for 6 months. So that also trends toward the economy because these are things that parents are paying out of their pocket for. So they won't be doing it. Hopefully they do the November tournament, but this one is canceled. So that left us with we got about 30 rooms on the book open because of the no hurricane and an event wash. So we'll see what's gonna happen.
What was the Pumpkin Shootout?
It's lacrosse or something.
Okay.
We didn't have it last year because it got messed up because the fields were wet. And then they started like picking one. So it's a Peak Sports Travel, and they'll have a Pumpkin Shootout and Veterans Day. And the families seem to, as the economy changes, go toward Veterans Day because there's a holiday associated with it, maybe a day off of school or something or whatever.
Right.
But it's all the way gone now. So he had to drop the tournament. So. And that's fine. It's just the fact that we hold the rooms out. So I think this is the first year we're going to get a true sense of what Biketoberfest is doing for Palm Coast as far as overflow because we don't have a storm attached to it. So we'll see how many rooms we get. I got it running at 65%. We can talk about it in January, but right now I see it at 65%. And people are here. It's beautiful outside. So I'm hoping that people start saying, hey, it's hot here. Start calling their friends, and at least we get more weekend, last minute, and that's okay. And we also saw in November, because Daytona stopped the night race, 40% of the rooms canceled on Thanksgiving. So that's what's going on with us off the highway. We expect it, so we're not shocked. It's just if you see dips in dollars, it might be the transient people because they are deciding, where they're going to go with what they have. A lot of people don't have disposable income like that. They're on fixed incomes. And these people, and I'll just say so myself, my daughter, these millennial kids, these parents, they got 4 and 5 kids. They got a couple tournaments to go to. They're going to pick and choose which ones they're going to because they have a lot of kids. So anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Ms. Lisa, with regards to the lacrosse, let us follow up with you because that event organizer may still owe the city of Palm Coast fees for the fields. So we're trying to get those paid.
Okay, yeah, I emailed him yesterday morning because I noticed, and I was at work on Saturday, so I was like, wait a minute, where's my link, But I can see in their website, they don't let me all the way in, but I can see when it was picking up, and I remember I only saw 5, right? And then it washes the rooms because they have to have a certain amount for them, blah, blah, blah. So they washed us. I was thinking, but nobody will confirm with me. I said, well, maybe if they're having it, right, they did the hotels on that side, which would be the Fairfield and the Holiday Inn Express, because it may be smaller. But I can't get either one of them to confirm, so. But we don't have it on our side. So I'll let you know.
All right.
Hey, how you doing, Chairman?
Good. How are you, Mr. Baker?
Good. Last year was our best year ever for the resort, and we've been open about 21 years. So we're pacing the same from a revenue standpoint, but just because the ADR is up, and so the room night's a little bit down. So just like what Lisa was talking about, the leisure bookings are very short term. And sometimes it'll seem to the weather even. And as y'all guys know, it seems like forever, probably wasn't that long, but the weather was just so bad on there. And so it impacted a lot of leisure for us. For me, I'm in charge of group, and we're going to hit the same revenue we did last year with group for this year, just because the ADR is up a little bit on there. So we're just working with it. It seems like a lot of groups are just kind of watching their dollars or combining meetings that used to be independently, and then now they're combining them. So we're just watching that. January's soft for us right now. So we even moved some rooms out of budget in January to later on in the year. So kind of kicking the can a little bit on that. So we have an open sales position. Joey Yevington, the last day will be Friday, and he's going to work at the Sunseeker Resort over on the west coast side of Florida. So we've opened that up, and it's always interesting to see all the applicants for that position on there. So if you do know of anybody that's maybe has worked at a resort or at least has stayed at a resort, that would be good, because that would probably beat some of the ones that we've gotten so far on there. Yeah, with those. We're still booking a lot of holiday parties right now, kind of into that season. Furyk and Friends they book with us for the next 2 years. So Jim Furyk, professional golfers. You have the senior PGA, which is 50 and older. So that tournament will be at the Ocean Course for the next 2 years in October. So that's a big deal. So we're super excited. If anybody can remember back in the Ginn days, we've that was like 2008. We had a tournament at the Conservatory Ginn Sommer, and then we had a couple of Champions event tours at the Ocean Course. So it's great to kind of get that back on there. And so that'll be in October of next year for a 2-year, and then after that 2 years is up, they'll have the ability, if everything goes well, they'll book for another 2 years. So that's exciting for us. And the funnest group that we have every year, and Amy's always a big help for them, and Deborah too, is the National Christian College Athletic Association. They come in next week. So these are the boys and girls from the Christian colleges that are coming in for a golf tournament, the championship. So, but they support the food ministry from Pastor Solano there on US 1. So Dottie and us will be working with them Sunday morning. But that food ministry still has about 1,200 cars a weekend coming in to get food. Plus, they've set up now at the high schools food and pantries there at both the high schools for the students. So the students that are coming in to play, they all bring in canned goods, and they'll donate them Sunday morning to them, and then Dottie brings in a large truck and brings them back to the food pantry. So that's always exciting to see for the local community with them and stuff. So, and that's it. Man, just excited. Good to see some good weather for us right now, so I'm thankful.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I worry with that tournament in October. You never know with October's weather. And
Commissioner, you don't, but we're going ahead with it. And we're thinking good things.
That's
now.
right. Good things.
Yeah.
Good thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Pontieri.
Nothing, thank you.
All right, Mr. Commissioner Cooley.
As far as Flagler Beach goes and tourism, just an update, the pier construction is in full swing. I think that the city could probably use tourism's help as far as messaging. This is the same thing we saw back when beach renourishment was going on, A1A washed out, and all these other, challenges that the city faces, is that letting everyone know that Flagler Beach is open. The pier construction project takes up a very small footprint. It's on the shoulder of the road, and it's only about 2 blocks. There's two-way traffic going through there, but it's intimidating when you're approaching it. Or if you see pictures of it from a distance, it looks like downtown's a demolition zone. And I think that's hurt some of the downtown foot traffic. It's hard to say because it really got in full swing right at the end of summer when we see the downturn. And then we also have a macro downturn going on in the economy as well. Things are soft. So the business owners in that sector are obviously feeling the pinch. It looks intimidating, it's scary, it hurts foot traffic, but the way it's being done is pretty neat. It's a very minimal impact outside of just, the intimidation factor, how it looks. And that might be something to consider when we look at messaging from a tourism aspect to make sure that Flagler Beach, which tends to be the anchor of that, still will continue to, that whole we're open. The beach is open. The beach will stay open around the project too. Once they get the trestle built, there will be, we'll call it a pedestrian underpass. So you can get from the south side of the pier to the north side, just like New York style, where you walk under the little covered walkways. And so the beach will be open. The closures will be very limited. There's a little bit of closure around the pier right now, just because it's an very active work zone, and nothing's built in place to keep everybody safe. So it's roped off for now. So we could use our help with that. Also, at the end of the summer season, it's just worth talking about. Flagler Beach had a lot of unexpected and FDOT construction that didn't get communicated. All of a sudden, A1A was tore up. They decided to do right in the end of summer initiative to do a big pedestrian safety push in both Flagler and Volusia County at the same time. And during peak season, and it tore up A1A pretty good. And that also created a lot of confusion with tourism and just overall traffic for us and Volusia. We both saw it. And that was also intimidating from, if you're going to visit Flagler Beach, all the way down to Volusia, when you see this type of stuff posted and you hear about the traffic flows, that hurts. And unfortunately, nobody knew it was coming except FDOT. They just show up and then tear the road up. And it even interfered with the pier project. The pier contractor was like, what's this? And we said, we don't know. Let's call a state. And so there's a big gap there. We're working on getting that patched up. Johnny, I think you had FDOT at your meeting here, what was that, yesterday? Yep. And so you probably got some updates on that. But we're still working on bridging that gap and trying to get PSAs out to the public just to let everybody know. The downtown core, outside of maybe 20 to 30 parking spots, is wide open. We're in the off season, so there's parking everywhere. Parking is not a problem in Flagler Beach. Parking is a problem in Flagler Beach in peak season in the summer. Right now, you can park anywhere you want, walk to a business, it doesn't matter, even on a Saturday. We're not that busy. And the beach is still fine. There's a little bit of erosion going on. You have the escarpments, and that's a lot of that sand's expected to wash back in, as the tides change and everything. So it's not a huge deal. Everything's good. It's just messaging. It's letting everyone know that, sure, if you look at social media, it looks like a war zone between the beach erosion and road construction, but it's really not. When your feet are on the ground, It's just good old Flagler Beach, minus you have a crane in your picture now. But just wanted to put that out there and let everybody know that, and maybe talk about some potential things that we might need to start pivoting on and working on from a tourism aspect. That's all I got.
Yeah, is there someone from the city? Because we'll just sing the same song, messaging you guys or how you're directing people, like where to park, or is there anyone in particular, or we'll just do our normal thing?
I would probably recommend doing your normal thing. Okay. We have Catherine Monroy is been engaged with social media, but she's trying to almost build the city's social media from ground up. We're not in a very good messaging position right now. Honestly, the police department's in the best position to send messages out just because of their following. City's still working on just 101 as far as media and, our platforms.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bluedry.
I second a lot of what Eric had said specifically about Flagler Beach. There's definitely a parking opportunity, not necessarily a problem. And this upcoming Tuesday, from our Flagler Beach Business Bureau meeting yesterday, we spawned a downtown parking collaboration or initiative with a couple local property owners and business owners, anyone that's being affected by the current construction. At the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, is just getting people to come and talk and work together from the state, from the county. Even we had Senator Leake's office present yesterday, and they have, they're coming up with a couple different solutions where they can shift some funding towards transportation. And, it's really great to be able to have the kind of platform that we've developed in Flagler Beach to attack more of city and more so countywide initiatives and or problems. So you're probably going to see a meeting upcoming from us regarding beach management plan. A lot of us business owners are educating ourselves on what's going on and how the city and the county, all the cities can work together to push this through, because I know we still don't have a firm plan just yet. As far as October on the beach, October 25th is going to be a really big day. Flagler Beach Creates is putting on their Witches and Warlock ride, and we also have the police trunk or treat right there at the Wick Line Center, which is going to be really fun. I know there's like 2 or 3 other things that are going on that day. So I'm looking forward to the business increase with the weather. That's going to be great. Also, Oceanside is doing our first pickleball tournament, which is going to be kind of exciting. We put it on a little bit late, so we got 2.5 weeks. It's the day after Halloween, so November 1st. Saturday morning starts at 10 a.m. There's only 3 different brackets: over 55 single competition, open competition, and then there's mixed fun doubles where we highly encourage costumes. So that's going to be fun. We're encouraging basket donations. I hate taking money from people, so I didn't really do a main sponsor, but for the most part, when it comes to the trays or the baskets, for a silent auction, that's how we're going to raise some money for youth sports, because that's been our biggest initiative lately, is getting our youth sports and trying to find more field space or really invest into coaching, because what I'm realizing is we just really have a lack of coaches. Fields, we've always played on dirt fields growing up, and it always helps to have a nice facilities, but for the most part, when you have a really good coach or mentor or teacher, that changes your life, and normally for the better, right? So that's pretty much all I got. I hope to see some of you playing some pickleball or some staff there. You can register on Eventbrite, and I'll sure to send out some flyers.
All right, thank you, sir. The only thing I'll add is if you didn't get to see the presentation that Ms. Lukasik did for the commission, go to the September 15th, right, workshop, and look at just watch the presentation, because it ties, it's not just the Eco Discovery Center, but it ties the whole southern region of the Bulow area, and how we're developing a whole master concept for passive recreation and environmentalism geared around the Eco Center. So get yourself acclimated to what's the plan is for that area, because there's lots of cool stuff happening. And so we're in the middle of the design phase for the Bulow Creek Headwaters Regional Park, and our engineering departments been very aggressive on Sun Trail grants for additional trails, and that's ongoing. So just a lot of fun stuff going on.
One thing I'll add for the group is that our engineering department was able to get a trailhead for us at the Eco Center that we originally, kind of thought we would help with that so that people had place to park and bathrooms. And with the new vendor, all the drawings and renderings so far have had the visitor center in the front of the property, and this vendor put it in the back, where there's more room for parking. It's a little bit more quieter than off the street. And then in the front, when you first pull in, is that trailhead with some parking spots and a bathroom. So that way, if you just want to hop on the trail and go across the pedestrian bridge, it's right there, right off the State Road 100. So engineering was able to get that paid for 100% for us.
And I will say one of the gaps is getting a better accessible path to the beach. It's a little bit wonky getting to the beach, either on bike or by pedestrians. A little bit easier, but by bike it's harder. And so that's kind of a gap that needs to be addressed. But especially on the south side, you got to go to the north side, and then you got to cross back to the south side. So, but we can work on that. That's all I've got. Anything else? All right. Well, good. Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate you taking your time. We went a little bit longer than an hour. How much time do we need for January, as you think, with the Agua presentation?
We always block off 9 to noon, or we ask that you block off your schedule. So it all depends on how many questions and the discussion level, so which we encourage and like.
I would think a
Couple
little
hours.
extra time for January's
Extra time.
meeting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, very good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you, sir. We're adjourned. Thank you again for everybody for being here.
We'll bring snacks in January. Keep you here. Thank you.